And we learned that force is either is a push or a pull. Force can change the shape, size, and motion of an object. The unit for force is newtons. Force can be measured with the spin balance. Examples are friction, weight, air resistance, electrostatic force, magnetic force, and so on. Then yesterday we also learned about balance forces. We said that balance forces are those forces in which the resultant force is zero. And balance force affects in two ways. One way is that if the force acts on a body's balance, it will stay at rest. It is if at rest, it will stay at rest. And second one was it will move with constant speed. If it is moving with constant speed, it will keep on moving with constant speed. So these are the two things which we discuss for balance forces. That if an object is if an object is if an object is at rest, it will stay at rest when a balance force acts on it. And if object is moving with constant speed, it will keep on moving with constant speed when a balance forces will act. And we also did examples of balance forces. Like for example, you can see in the car. Just give me- So you can see in the car, there's 6 newtons on the left hand side and 6 newtons on the right hand side. So both are opposite and balanced. So the resultant force is 0 newtons. Another example is 500 on the left, 500 on the right. So the resultant force is balanced. This example we did yesterday. What example for balance forces? Then what did we do? We used the concept of balanced and unbalanced forces. We learned also that unbalanced forces are those forces where the resultant force is not zero, the value is more than zero. Then we also learned what are the applications of balanced forces and unbalanced forces. We learned that Newton's first law basically uses the concept of balanced forces. It says that if the force acting on a body is balanced, then if it is at rest, it will continue to stay at rest. So this was what we discussed about Newton's first law, that it uses the concept of balanced forces, that if you apply a balanced force on an object which is at rest, it will continue to stay at rest. If you apply a balanced force on an object which is moving, it will keep on moving with a constant speed in a straight line. So this was what we discussed for Newton's first law. Then we also discussed unbalanced forces. What does unbalanced forces do? It causes a object which is at rest to move. If you apply an unbalanced force on an object which is at rest, it will start to move. And the second effect was if you apply a unbalanced force, if you apply an unbalanced force on a moving object, the result will be that it will be changing its velocity. Its speed or velocity will change due to unbalanced force. As a result, acceleration will be due to change in velocity. We know acceleration is rate of change in velocity. So there would be some acceleration produced. So if the car is moving forward and you apply a force backwards and the forward force is more than the backward force or the brake force, then car will accelerate. But if the forward engine force is less than the braking force, then the car will slow down. This is similar to when we apply brakes, car starts to slow down. So this is the example. We did an example on a box. This is also another example. If 5,000 is on the left hand side and 1,500 is on the right hand side, and now they are both in the opposite direction, so they will subtract. So the resultant force is 3,500 newton. This is an example of unbalanced force. So what is the example that in balanced force the resultant force is zero, while in unbalanced force the resultant force is not zero. So as a result, it will accelerate forward. Here's another example. Now in this case, it will decelerate because the backward force or the braking force is more than the forward force or the engine force. We can discuss making the using the concept of unbalanced forces. We discussed about Newton's second law, and Newton's second law says what the acceleration of the body is directly proportional to the force applied. So this was Newton's second law. That acceleration of the body is directly proportional to the direction of force applied and inversely proportional to the mass of the body. This is also what we discussed yesterday. That if you apply more force, or if there's more value of the resultant force, then there would be more acceleration. I gave you people an example of a box. If there's a small box on the table and you hit it hard, it will start to move. It will move some distance. But if you hit with less force, it will move less. So the more force you apply on the box, the more acceleration will be produced. Similarly, we also discussed that if the mass of the box, or if it's a small box, then it has less mass. So if you apply the force, it will move, it will have more acceleration. So more force is inversely proportional to mass of the body. Smaller the mass, there will be more acceleration. Bigger the mass, there will be less acceleration. So this is what we discussed yesterday. Now using these concepts, we derive a formula. The formula is force is equal to mass into acceleration. F is equal to ma. Everybody write down this formula. This is Newton's second formula derived from these conditions. Force is equal to ma. This force is the resultant force. This force is the resultant force. So everybody write down this formula. Force is equal to ma. Mass into acceleration. Have you written it down? Have you written down the formula? Okay. So now let's do some example. A block of mass 20 kg is pushed along a road with a force of 30 newtons. The frictional force is 10 newtons. So friction is always opposed to motion. We did it on the first day of the chapter. Friction force is which force? It is opposite to the direction of the force. So now what you need to find, what is the acceleration of the block. So how I'm going to do it, we have the formula F is equal to ma. And I told you that F is resultant force. So how would you find resultant force? 30 is on the right hand side and 10 is on the left hand side. So you will subtract them. 30 minus 10 is 20 newtons. So 20 F is equal to ma, 20 is equal to 28. So this is how you are going to solve it. So acceleration will become what? 1 is equal A is equal to 1 meter per second square. Everybody look at the numerical how I have solved it. Is everybody done? Write the for question down and write the answer. Is everybody done? Have you all written it down? Okay, Zainab, be quick. Done? Okay, let's move forward. Now we also take this set in Newton's third law, which was to every action there is an equal but opposite reaction. So if object A exerts a force on object B, which you can consider as to be the action, then object B will exert an equal but opposite force on object A. Reaction. Examples are firing gun, hammering a nail, book cap. Yesterday we did an example that if you push or apply a force on the wall, in return wall will be also applying force on you. So that is Newton's third law. To every action there is equal but opposite reaction. So these were the things we discussed yesterday, and these are the examples. So normal reaction force, hammering a nail, all that stuff is example of Newton's third law. Now we are starting about friction. What is friction? We learned that friction is a contact force. We did it on the first day. Now what does friction do? Everybody start writing. Friction is the force which opposes the motion, stopping the force. So we discuss if you are moving forward, it will pull you backward. So friction always works in the opposite direction of the travel. And how can friction can be reduced? By acting lubricants, lubricating oil, grease, and all that stuff. So whenever you know in our locks made up of steel or in our cycle chain, we use oil. Why? So that the chain do not get rough up or it is not due to friction, it can be deteriorate the condition of the chain. So we use oil in between. So this is what friction causes. When you are done, let me know. Yeah, you're done. Okay, let's move forward. Now we are going causes of friction. Why does friction happen? So you should all know friction happens on rough surface or smooth surface. Who who's going to tell me friction happens on smooth surfaces or rough surfaces? G, very good. So now we are going to do causes of friction. Okay, what are the causes of friction? Molecules in materials have a tendency to stick to each other when materials are pressed or rubbed together. This is the first cause. Second cause is the nature of the surface. Rough surfaces have more friction due to ups and downs which catch each other. So the metal spikes on into the ice makes a very acha. It is due to the friction that we can walk. If there was no friction, we all wouldn't be able to walk. We would slip and fall down. So when we apply force forward, our foot applies force forward as a reaction force. There is a friction between the foot and the floor, and we are able to move forward or backward. This is how we move. Let me know when you are done. Are you done? Let me know. Are you all done? Okay, let's move forward. Now we did causes of friction. Now we are doing what are the advantages of friction. Now we are doing advantage and disadvantages of friction. Advantage of friction is friction help us to walk, friction help us to hold the objects, friction help us to stop a moving object. Disadvantages of friction. Machine parts rub together and become loose. Sew and cloak, wear and tear. It heats up the moving parts and some energy is lost in form of heat. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of friction. When you are done, let me know. Okay, good. Let's move forward. Now we will see what are the effects of friction on a motion. Acha. Before we do it, Now, can anybody tell me if I want to reduce friction, how can I do it? How can I use or how can I reduce friction? What things can I do? Do anyone? G. Anyone who can tell me how can I reduce friction? How can I reduce friction? Can anybody tell me how can I reduce friction? G. Okay. But we don't have a smooth surface, then what we will do? Okay, we can make a surface smooth. How? Very good. Using lubricant, what else? Oh, let's write the points. How can we reduce friction? Okay, how can we reduce friction? Let's write it down. Okay, that's lubricant, right? That's an example of lubricant. Okay. Okay, let's write it down. To give the heading, methods of reducing friction. So the first is how can we reduce methods of reducing friction using highly polished surface for movement parts. That's the first step we can do. Second step we can do is using a layer of lubricant between movement parts. So that's the second thing. When you are done, let me know. Dhanji, are you done? Okay, okay. You can't see it? Okay, wait. Okay. Can you all see the screen? Okay. Now you can see in method of reducing friction using highly polished surface of moving parts using a layer of refrigerant between moving parts. Now you all can see. Okay. Done? You Mustafa done? Good. Okay, now there are two more methods. The third one is using ball bearings to enable surface to roll over. We can use ball bearing so that we can use surface to roll over. Ball bearings are small balls made up of steels. Ball bearings are small balls made up of steel. They are used in equipment. And the fourth one is make the aerodynamic make the aerodynamic shapes of the moving objects. What does aerodynamic shape do? It reduces air friction, okay, or air resistance, okay. Aerodynamic reduces air resistance, okay. So make aerodynamic shapes of moving objects because in physics, what is the concept? The more you fast you move, there would be more air resistance. Okay, write it down and let me know. You're done? Okay, Smile, it's using ball bearings to enable surface to roll over, and the fourth point is make aerodynamic shapes of moving object. What does aerodynamics do? It reduces air resistance. Your jets, your airplanes, your cars are made on aerodynamic models. So when they move at high speed, the air resistance do not affect them. Otherwise, you will need more engine power to travel at high speed. Okay, is it clear, Smile? Okay. So what you people need to do is you need to revise forces, Newton's first law, second law, third law. What type of forces are those who missed the yesterday lecture? That was very important. So go on YouTube. I have already sent you the link for the yesterday lecture as well. So go through it, study it, and read from the book. It's very important. Okay, good. Jane Prasad, you missed the last two lectures. You also go and see the videos and make notes. It's very important. Okay. Any questions you want to ask? Any problem? Okay, just revise it over the weekend. Inshallah, we will meet again 12 o'clock on Monday. Okay, okay then enjoy your weekend. Allah Hafiz.